Hi.
Hello.
I'm Allie Samek.
I'm Ari Hirschfeld-Tabak.
It is so nice to meet you.
You too.
I was thrilled to get a chance to say hello.
Me too.
And I know that we're here today to talk about our pasts, our histories, our intersections, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Me too. And I think we found out recently that we have a literal intersection, which is the street that you live on and the one I grew up on.
We live on the same street. I can't believe it.
Ridiculous.
I had no idea. And I know just from your mom that you have a brother, right?
I have
So it's just the two of you?
Yep, just the two of us, older brother, which is so funny because I have a son and I'm pregnant with a girl and can't even wrap my head around the fact that my family is very soon going to look like the family I grew up in because I still feel like I'm 16 years old. So I don't know how that happens.
So cool.
Obviously, we have the location in common, but I'm curious for you. Where did you grow up? What was your... I assume it was not
It was not on Spalding. Yeah, so I was born in California, actually here as well. My dad was at his residency. He's a doctor at UCLA, and I moved when I was almost 5 to Phoenix, suburb of Phoenix called Mesa, and I lived there until I was 18. It's a really interesting place. It's a very... insular suburb, and it was mostly Mormon. So I grew up in a Mormon community.
Wow.
I have to say it was an amazing place to grow up and a very stifling place. Really interesting, super conservative, I was one of the only Jewish people.
Which is so the opposite of me. 80% of my high school, public high school,
went to your mom.
was Jewish.
Right.
And it's so funny when we talk about, the news and anti-Semitism and knock on whatever. I didn't experience that because West LA is so Jewish. It was like you never had to explain yourself. The Jewish holidays are taken off in school. And it was weird going to Santa Barbara. I mean, an hour and a half away. A lot of the friends that I had, I was the first Jewish friend they'd ever had. And I don't understand. What do you mean you've never met a Jew before? I'm dying because I know a little bit about your professional history. And of course, we all have imposter syndrome. So my first response is, oh my God, she's such a badass. I'm so
my
intimidated.
entire life is imposter syndrome.
Oh, you mean you're a woman?
Are
you a woman? Yeah.
I was one of those few people that knew what they wanted to do when they were really little. I always knew I wanted to go into business, and I always knew I wanted to do something with fashion. Always. I don't remember there was a time where I wanted to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. That was very short-lived. Most of my life, I really wanted to do this. I worked at a clothing company called Ron Herman here for 11 years.
Of course.
And I left in 2016 because I wanted to spend more time. I was sort of done. I'd been at the job 11 years. I felt sort of done with it. And I thought I was going to sort of retire. And that lasted 6 weeks. About 6 weeks later, I was on a beach and in LA, and I ran into a business school friend of mine. And he said to me, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I ran into you. I actually just took a new job working at a private equity fund that owns Fred Siegel. And would you come and help us and talk to us? And I was like, listen, I'm not interested in helping you at all, but I'm happy to talk to you and give you any advice you need. That was in July, and by November, I took the role of CEO.
Wow.
Yeah, I not just went I had been working part-time for 6 years, and I went full-time all in. It was exhausting, but also exhilarating.
Yeah.
And I had imposter syndrome every single day.
Yeah.
Every day. And it happened to coincide perfectly with becoming president of Isaiah.
Great.
And I said, you know what? My next thing I'm going to work on is doing nonprofit and trying to do this presidency. And so I've been doing that. I finished my term in just a few months.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to kind of figuring out what's next. So when did you go off on your own? How long ago?
So I was working in tech. I was there for 10 years. I was in leadership positions and loved the idea of the strategy and things like that. But nothing lit me up more than having one-on-ones with the people on my team, helping them figure out what their personal career goals are, helping give them the confidence and resources to accomplish that. And really it became like a drug for me. I was addicted to watching people blow their own mind with what they're capable of. And so,
if I could be a professional mentor, that would be my job.
Well, I think you might want to be a coach. I went through a coaching program while I was working in tech. I was like, this will be a fun little side hustle. Maybe I'll make some money, but really I just need to find fulfillment because I wasn't getting that in my job. After one class, I was like, oh,
this is what I want to do.
This is my plan A, not my plan B. And I was kicking myself because I waited to do it full time. After the second one, I was like, I don't have the capacity to emotionally heal and be a good boss to the people I work with in a job that I don't love. So I need to start doing this. So I did the dumbest thing ever. Within 3 weeks, had a second miscarriage, decided to quit my job and start my own business. Don't do that.
I mean, I can't imagine what you went through to do that. And did it all work out really quickly, or did it take some time to build?
Oh, God, no. I was depressed. I went through an identity crisis like everyone does when they leave the corporate world.
Right.
And I mean, I was going to say.
And then all of a sudden one day you're sitting at your desk at home and you're like, what am I doing?
Well, and also for someone who loves people and loves team and culture and community, I still to this day, I am the worst team of one. But if you get me in a room with anyone who has an ounce of creativity, like we do not shut up. Like there's something so stimulating about being able to brainstorm and communicate with other people and bounce ideas off of each other.
So you're about to have another baby.
Oh, don't
Obviously,
remind me.
That's what's next. You're about to have baby. But when you think of like what's next, career, family, life, like you have hopefully many years to go. What do you think of next?
I think I've had to learn not to plan too far in advance because who knows what version of myself I'm going to be 5 years from now. What I will tell you is the work that I'm doing right now is so stimulating and I'm trying to figure out ways how to turn the volume up on it. Of course, I get this surge of creativity and wanting to do more right before I have a kid. But I also know that, life happens and who knows what the next couple of years will look like. Yeah. So kind of playing it by ear. What about you?
I don't know what's next for me. I'm going to have some time on my hands starting in July. And I just read a meme the other day that said you spend 95% of the time that you'll ever spend with your children in their whole lives before they're 18. And I have a son who's turning 17 next month. And it really hit me that I need to really dig into the next couple of years. I have a son who's 14 and one who's 17. And they're not going to like it, but like I'm going to be all over them. And I need to, I want to get that time out of them. I find like the older they are, the more I enjoy being with them. And then I need to figure out like my next, I call it second mountain. Like, what does that look like? What am I doing?
I think you've had like 12 mountains by the way.
I mean, it was like a straight climb. And then it's sort of like, now what? Now I feel like I'm on a mesa,
Allie, I know we were asked to bring some things that represent us, some photos, things like that. So I'm so curious to see what you brought because obviously you have an amazing story and pictures say 1,000 words.
Okay, so I sort of grabbed some stuff from my house at the last minute. Oh, no. I wore red glasses from the time I was in second grade until the time I was in about seventh grade.
Oh my gosh.
This is just one of the pairs, but I had always had like cool. Sally, Jesse, Raphael glasses. I thought I was rocking them.
I was going to say, those could be very hip.
How do they look?
They actually look really cool.
No, they don't.
100%. Yes,
And then I brought this ring, the last object, which is, it's nothing, it's an ancient coin from Greece, an ancient Greek coin. I bought this ring when in my early 20s off of a cruise ship in St. Thomas. We went and I saw it in the window and I don't know why, but something spoke to me about this ring. And it was the reason I bring it and the reason I hold on to it is not because I love it so much anymore, but it was the first thing I bought for myself with my own money working. Wow. And I was in my first job out of college and I had my first paycheck and it was expensive at the time for me. And I was like, I loved that ring and I bought it for myself. Wow. And so this is the first piece of jewelry I ever bought in 1997. Beautiful. What did you bring?
You brought a lot of incredible things. It's funny, similar to your story, I have this very dinky, bent, old rose gold band that I bought for myself when I was dating my husband. Not expensive, whatever, but I remember thinking, I want to always put myself first. And as much as I love being a partner and I love my husband, he's my best friend in the whole world, I wanted a ring that was towards me first as a reminder that I am what's most important for me. No one owns me. I am my own person and I matter. And so that's why I wear that ring closest to me.
I love that. I want to get a ring like that.
Right?
Oh, I need to buy a ring that puts me first.
I might need an upgrade. That was my own little tradition. My family, we always joke around, we make up traditions. I'm always like, Dad, is that a real Jewish thing or is that a you thing that you made up? So my son's middle name is after my husband and my daughter's middle name will be my middle name.
Oh.
So, we just make up BS traditions.
There you go.
Isn't that like Reform Judaism at its finest?
It works that way. It works.
Yeah.